Rusty heard indignant mutterings erupt among the clan cats, but Bluestar silenced him with a firm meow.
I have found a cat who is willing to become an apprentice of ThunderClan.
Lucky to become an apprentice.
Caterwauls' loud voice above the ripple of shock that spread through the cats. Rusty craned his neck and saw a pale, tabby cat standing up and glaring defiantly at the leader. Bluestar ignored the tabby and addressed all of her clan.
Lionheart and Whitestorm have met this young cat, and they agree with me that we should train him with the other apprentices.
Rusty looked up at Lionheart, then back to the clan to find all eyes were on him now. His fur prickled and he swallowed nervously. There was a silence for a moment. Rusty was sure they must all be able to hear his heart pulsing and smell his fierce scent. Now definitely a crescendo of caterwauling rose from the crowd.
Where does he come from?
Which clan does he belong to?
What a strange scent he carries. That's not the scent of a clan I know.
Then one meow in particular sounded out above the rest.
Look at his collar. He's a kitty pet.
It was the pale tabby again.
Once a kitty pet, always a kitty pet. This clan needs wild-born warriors to defend it, not another soft mouth to feed.
Lionheart bent down and hissed into Rusty's ear.
That tabby is Longtail. He smells your fear. They all do. You must prove to him and the other cats that your fear won't hold you back.
But Rusty couldn't move. How could he ever prove to these furious cats that he wasn't just a kitty pet? The tabby continued to jeer at him.
Your collar is a mark of the two legs. That noisy jingling will make you a poor hunter at best. At worst, it will bring the two legs into our territory, looking for the poor lost kitty pet who fills the woods with pitiful tinkling.
All the cats howled in agreement. Longtail went on, well aware that he had the support of his audience.
The noise of your treacherous bell will alert our enemies, even if your two-leg stench doesn't.
Lionheart hissed into Rusty's ear once more.
Do you back down from a challenge?
Rusty still did not move, but this time he was trying to pinpoint Longtail's position. There he was, just behind the dusky brown queen. Rusty fired his arrows, narrowed his eyes, and hissing, leaped for the startled cat to fling himself onto his tormentor. Longtail was completely unprepared for Rusty's attack. He staggered sideways, losing his footing on the hard-baked earth, filled with rage and desperate to prove himself. Rusty dug his claws deep into the tabby cat's fur and sank his teeth. No subtle rituals of swiping and boxing preceded this fight. The two cats were locked in a screaming, writhing tussle that whipped and somersaulted around the clearing at the heart of the camp. The other cats had to spring out of the way to avoid the screeching whirlwind of fur. As Rusty stretched and struggled, he was suddenly aware that he felt no fear, only exhilaration. Through the roaring of the blood in his ears, he could hear the cats around him wailing with excitement. Then Rusty felt his collar tighten around his neck. Longtail gripped it between his teeth and was tugging and tugging hard. Rusty felt a terrible pressure at his throat. Unable to breathe, he started to panic. He wriggled and twisted, but each move only made the pressure worse. Retching and gulping for air, he summoned all his strength and tried to pull away from the Longtail's grip. Suddenly, a loud snap, he was free. Longtail tumbled away from him. Rusty scrambled to his paws and looked around. Longtail was crouching 3 tail lengths away, and dangling from Longtail's mouth, Rusty saw his collar, naked and broken. At once, Bluestar leaped down from the high rock and silenced the noisy crowd with a thunderous caterwaul. Rusty and Longtail remained fixed to the spot, gasping for air. Clumps of fur hung from their ruffled coats. Rusty could feel a cut stinging above his eye. Longtail's left ear was badly torn, and blood dripped down his lean shoulders onto the dusty ground. They stared at each other, their hostility not yet spent. Bluestar stepped forward and took the collar from Longtail. She placed it on the ground in front of her and meowed.
The newcomer has lost his two-leg collar in a battle for his honor. StarClan has spoken its approval. This cat has been released from the hold of his two-leg owners and is free to join ThunderClan as an apprentice.
Rusty looked at Bluestar and solemnly nodded his acceptance. He stood up and stepped forward into a shaft of sunshine, welcoming the warmth on his sore muscles. The pole of light blazed bright on his orange pelt, making his fur glow. Rusty shifted his head proudly and looked at the cats that surrounded him. This time no cat argued or jeered. He had shown himself to be a worthy opponent in battle. Bluestar approached Rusty and placed the started collar on the ground in front of him. She touched his ear gently with her nose.
You look like a brand of fire in this sunlight.
She murmured, her eyes flashed briefly, as if her words had more meaning for her than Rusty knew.
You have fought well.
As she turned to the clan and announced,
From this day forward, until he has earned his warrior name, this apprentice will be Firepaw, in honor of his flame-colored coat.
She stood back and with the other cats waited silently for his next move. Without hesitating, Rusty turned and kicked dust and grass over his collar as though burying his dirt. Longtail growled and limped out of the clearing toward a fern-shaded corner. The other cats split into groups, murmuring to each other excitedly.
Hey, Firepaw!
Rusty heard Graypaw's friendly voice behind him. Firepaw, a thrill of pride surged for him at the sound of his new name. He turned to greet the gray apprentice with a welcoming sniff.
Great fight, Firepaw!
Mewed Graypaw.
Especially for a kitty pet. Longtail is a warrior. Although he only finished his training 2 moons ago. That scar you left on his ear won't let him forget you in a hurry. You spoiled his good looks, that's for sure.
Thanks, Graypaw.
Firepaw replied.
You put up quite a fight, though.
He licked his front paw and began to wipe clean the deep scratch that stung above his eye. As he washed, he heard his new name again, echoing among the meows of the cats.
Firepaw!
Hey, Firepaw!
Welcome, young Firepaw.
Firepaw closed his eyes for a moment and let the voices wash over him.
Good name, too.
Graypaw meowed approvingly, jolting him away. Firepaw looked around.
Where'd Longtail peep off to?
I think he was heading towards Spotted Leaf's den.
Graypaw tipped his head toward the fern-shaded enclosed corner.
She's our medicine cat. Not bad looking either. Younger and a lot prettier than most.
A low yawn next to the 2 cats stopped Graypaw mid-speech. They both turned, and Firepaw recognized the powerful gray tabby who had sat behind Graypaw earlier.
Darkstripe!
Mewed Graypaw, dipping his head respectfully. The sleek Tom looked at Firepaw for a moment.
Lucky your collar snapped when it did. Longtail is a young warrior, but not even I imagined him being beaten by a kitty pet.
He spat the word kitty pet scornfully, then turned and stalked off.
Now Darkstripe.
Graypaw hissed to Firepaw under his breath.
It's neither young nor pretty.
Firepaw was about to agree with his new friend when he was interrupted by a warning yell from an old gray cat sitting at the edge of the clearing.
Smaller smells trouble!
Graypaw meowed, impatiently alert. Firepaw barely had time to look around before a young cat crashed through the bushes and into the camp. He was skinny and apart from the white tip of his long fibbed tail, jet black from head to toe. Graypaw gasped.
That's Ravenpaw! Why is he alone? Where's Tigerclaw?
Firepaw looked at Ravenpaw staggering across the floor of the clearing. He was panting heavily, his coat ruffled and dusty, and his eyes were wild with fear.
Who are Ravenpaw and Tigerclaw?
Firepaw whispered to Graypaw as several other cats raced past him to greet the new arrival.
Ravenpaw's an apprentice. Tigerclaw is his mentor.
Graypaw explained quickly.
Ravenpaw went out with Tigerclaw and Redtail at sunrise on a mission against River Clan, the Lucky Furball.
Redtail?
Firepaw echoed, really confused by all these names.
Bluestar's deputy.
Hissed Graypaw.
But why on earth has Ravenpaw come back alone?
He added to himself. He lifted his head to listen as Bluestar stepped forward.
Ravenpaw?
The she-cat spoke calmly, but a look of worry clouded her eyes. The other cats drew back, curling their lips with anxiety.
What has happened?
Bluestar jumped onto the high rock and looked down at the trembling cat.
Speak, Ravenpaw!
Ravenpaw was still struggling for breath, and his sides heaved fitfully while the dust around him turned red with blood. But still managed to scramble up the high rock and stand beside Bluestar. He turned to the crowd of eager faces that surrounded him and summoned enough breath to declare,
Redtail is dead!